So welcome to your introduction to the tutorials on how to use your brushes. First of all, I just really want to thank you for investing in your powder ink brushes. I'm really excited. This is a dream come true for me. I'm excited to show you. I'm excited to teach you. It's a big deal for me. So just wanted to give you a short introduction on why I made these brushes. I made these brushes because over my 10-year career as I've been teaching people, I see that for most everyday women, it's really hard to buy the makeup they need as well as the tools that they need. And a lot of times I'm seeing that they're able to buy the makeup, but they don't really understand the value or the importance of the brushes and the tools. And when I tell them which brushes I use, they're all MAC brushes, and it's $400 to $500 to buy just the basic brushes that they need to be able to create this. I just did my whole makeup with only my powder ink brushes. I didn't use one single MAC brush, even though I have a belt full of them, and I'll continue to use them because I'm obviously not just going to throw them out. But I'm super excited to incorporate these into my makeups on myself and my makeups on my clients. The tutorials that you're about to watch are going to show you in very simple terms. I hope I made it really simple enough for you to understand what each brush is for. You're going to have synthetic brushes and fluffy brushes and flat brushes and round brushes, and hopefully you'll kind of understand what that's for. I made it really clear which ones go where. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Super excited for you to see these and watch these and start using your brushes so you can be empowered and do your own makeup. Okay, so now we're on brush 11. So brush 11 is the brush I actually start my makeup with. I'm going to use it to prime my eyes. So whatever your primer of choice is, you should always be putting down a primer before you do your eyeshadow. You're going to just pick up product on one side and you're going to paint it on. You're going to fill your whole lid and brow with this brush. Creams and liquids work really good on synthetic brushes. I don't really ever use my synthetic brushes for powder, so that's why I have this one in there. It's because you could do this with a powder brush if you really wanted to, but I prefer to do it with a synthetic. I like the finish that it gives me with a cream primer. Okay, so brush number 10 is a flat brush, little fluffy white hairs, and I use this brush to pack color on my brow bone and my lid. It's double-sided, so if you want to use two different colors you can, but you can also just use one color depending on how you do your makeup if you're doing it all over. I'm going to pick up my brow highlight color first. I pick up quite a bit. Don't be afraid to really push your eyeshadow into your brush and pick up a lot. And I'm going to put this under here. So it's a flat brush, so use it just to pack your eyebrow highlight on underneath your brow. Once you are done that, if you're using the same color, just take it all the way over your lid. I'm just going to use two colors, so I'm going to flip my brush around, and I'm going to use the same number 10 brush to do my lid color. Okay, so number 10 brush is for your brow and your lid. You can use two colors or you can use one color. That's brush number 10. Alright, so brush number 6 is a brush that I use to do color in my crease. It's longer, it's the same hair as our flat brush, but it's a little bit longer and it's actually got a pinched ferrule, so it's a little bit flat. And what makes this great is that you can put your crease color just on one side of your brush. Okay, so don't swirl it on one side of your brush. Put that color facing upwards, and then you're going to just swipe this through your crease. Start in the outside, and it's kind of just like a windshield wiper. Lean it up against your brow bone, and then you can just blend it like this. So that is your crease brush. Number 6. All right, so brush number 16, this is one of my favorite brushes. It's a small, flat chisel brush, and I use this brush to do my dark outer corner on my eyelid. So pick up your product on one side of the brush, because it's a flat brush, so just on one side, and then I'm going to pack this all over the outer corner. So this is the little brush you're going to use. And we're going to come back later to this brush because you're also going to use this brush on your lower lash line after your face makeup is done. So you'll have to watch part B of number 16 so you can see where else we use it. So just kind of fill that outer corner, that outer triangle of your lid, and just whatever your dark color of choice is, just keep picking up and filling that in. Just like a little stipple. Okay, like that. That's brush number 16. Okay, so 16, I did my outer corner first, but you probably should do your inner corner first. So it was a flat, it's that small, flat, fluffy brush, so you're actually going to use one side of it for lighter shades. So I'm picking up a little bit of a highlighter. I always leave my inner corner for a little bit of a highlight. So this small little brush is perfect for getting in here. It's nice and flat. So you're going to pick up your highlighting shade, usually a really light shimmery shade, and you're going to put that on the inner corner of your lid, just like that. Okay, so that's another use for number 16. All right, so brush number 14 is a synthetic wide angle brush. This brush you want to use for small things you need to define, I guess I would say. So eyebrows is what I'm going to use it for. You technically could also use it for eyeshadow, just like powder, by just pressing it on. You could use it for a cream liner and draw it on. I'm going to use it to fill my eyebrows with an eyeshadow. I have no eyebrows, so it's always a good time. So I'm just using really soft strokes, but I want to use it flat because you really want to make your eyebrows straight. So I'm just picking it up just on the end of the brush, remember that, okay? It's got a flat tip for a reason. And so I'm just using this. If you have really thick full brows, just get a nice straight under edge and then just lightly brush it through like you would with anything else. So you'll see the difference in a second here, my before and after. One eyebrow done and one not. Just kind of smudge that. So I'm going to make this really... It's so nice to fill your eyebrows because you could make them thicker, sharper, whatever you want really. I usually make mine a little bit longer and a little bit thicker. I'm just going to touch up because I always go back and touch up under my brow. So don't be afraid once you do that to just go back to the other brush and touch up your brow highlight. Okay, so again, brush number 14, I'm using it to fill brows. You can also use this brush for cream liner or for powder liner. That's brush 14. All right, so brush number 17 is a very small, with a nice sharp point, angle brush. And you can use this for a couple of things. You can use it to do your brows if you really need some strong definition. You can even pick up some creams with it and really kind of draw under there. I like to use it for small points, so if I want to get my eyebrows, if you just need to add, some people have nice full brows, but they just need to add a nice sharp tail, you can use it for that. And actually, this brush makes an awesome winged eyeliner. So I did my liner with a pen. There's a lot of good pen liners. That's super easy for me instead of using a brush. If I'm doing liner on somebody else, I actually use a square brush. I actually use number 13 for doing liner on other people, but that's because they can close their eyes and it's nice and smooth. I can't do that on myself. But I really like this number 17 for getting a really nice wing on my liner. And technically you can just, I could just use this if I was patient to do my liner all the way across, but I'm so used to just doing my pen and drawing it on. It's really fast. You can do the same thing with this. But my pen doesn't really give me a sharp clear, crisp wing. So this brush, by picking up a nice cream and just kind of brushing it on both sides, can really help you define your winged liner, which is really a challenge for a lot of people. So you might not own a lot of these tiny little brushes before now, but they really are awesome for defining brows, defining liner. And sometimes you might have a hard time with your pencil. So if you're using a pencil for your eyeliner, you might have a hard time getting it really thin at that inner corner. Use this brush for that. So kind of pull your eye tight and do your liner with this, because it's so small and so thin, you can get your eyeliner really, really thin in there. All right, so that is number 17. Okay, so my eye makeup is done. I don't have lashes on, but I usually do those at the very, very end if I decide to wear them. This is brush number 4, one of my favorite brushes. This brush is got dual fiber, and some of the cheaper, I call them fake brushes, they're fine, but so like the Sonia Kashuk one or things like that, they actually trick you, and it's not dual fiber, it's one hair that's just black on the bottom and white on the end. That's not what you want. This is a real dual fiber brush. You actually have little short boar bristle hairs here that are more, a little bit more rough and bristly. And then you have these really soft, fine, white synthetic hairs mixed in. So this brush I use to apply my liquid foundation. You can also do it for powders. If you were wearing, say, a lot of people wear mineral foundation, you could use this as well, buff it on that way. I use it for my liquids. So I'm going to dip these pretty bristles into, and I am going to, you have 2 ways of using this. Circles is one, but you'll notice it's kind of oval shaped. So you can also go back and forth. You really can just do it anyway. The key is that you're just pushing hard enough that you can see the black brushes are touching my face too. That's what gives me that really nice airbrushed look. People's always asking if my makeup's airbrushed. No, it's not. But this really buffs it in. If you want it heavier, you can also do this. You can stipple with it, okay? So this is for your foundation. I just want to give you one little tip here. So do that. If you want it more sheer, I mean, you can put this on pretty light. Just mix some lotion in with your foundation, or get your brush wet first, just a little bit wet on the, you spray it with some water, some Fix Plus or something like that from MAC. You can just kind of shear it out. But I mean, you can see the difference already. You get a really, really nice airbrush finish. And you can build this and layer this as much as you want. Okay, so you're going to go around your whole face with that. I'm actually going to leave out this area right here because I'm going to put concealer there next. So that is brush number 4. Okay, so now we're on brush number 5, which is our synthetic paddle brush, and I'm going to use this for my concealer. So I use a liquid concealer. You can also use it with cream. Remember, synthetic brushes work really well with cream and liquids, okay? So I picked up my concealer, and I'm going to kind of pat. I do a patting and a brushing. I do the same, a mix of both. So whatever your concealer is, you use this brush. It's really nice that it's so wide and flat. Sometimes you use a smaller brush, but this is great because with a smaller brush, obviously you're going to get more lines. So this is kind of a nice wide. I'm just going to put this out there. I don't recommend this for foundation unless you want really heavy makeup, which is fine. When you start using this, this is good because the size of the brush compared to the area that I'm filling is really good, so I don't get a lot of lines. If you use this for foundation all over your face, you do get some lines, and even though it is technically a foundation brush, it can be really heavy, which is why I like to use the brush that I used a second ago. My number 4 is better. Buffs it, makes it really soft. So this one we're going to use for concealer, okay? You don't have to just use it under your eyes. If you want, it has a nice fine point to it, so I'm also gonna, I usually take my concealer down the bridge of my nose, so feel free to do that also. And any other places that you might use your concealer to highlight, or maybe you have some blemishes and you do need extra coverage in some area after you've done your foundation, take a little bit of your concealer over those areas and just, you know, really lightly brush it. So I don't know if you can see that, but I can actually now see, I don't even know what this is, but it just showed up. So I might take a little tiny bit of this really finely with the tips of the brush, and I can use that. This is probably a little light. So, but you can get extra coverage with this, okay? So flat paddle foundation brush, you're gonna use it for concealer and highlighting and anywhere else where you might wanna add a little bit more coverage. That is brush number 5. Okay, so now we're on to brush number 7, which is our round ferrule, really long, fluffy but still kind of firm blending brush. And I actually am going to use this to set my concealer. So my concealer's done, my foundation is done. I'm going to take a powder, translucent powder, white powder, whatever you prefer to use. I use a white powder. And I'm actually going to always make sure you tap out your creases. And I'm going to press this all over to set my concealer. So anywhere that you put concealer, you can use this. I don't recommend, if you spot concealed, don't do it there. But T-zone, bridge of your nose, concealer, anywhere else where you had put that, you're just going to set it with a liberal amount of powder, okay? And again, it's a stippling. Don't pull and brush. Just pack your powder on with this nice big fluffy brush. Okay? That is how you use brush number 7. Okay, so brush number 1 is our big, huge, fluffy powder brush, and this is pretty basic. We're going to use this to set our foundation. So I'm going to pick up all my powder, and I just kind of dig it in there so I have a liberal amount, and I kind of pat mine on. Once I have a base on, then I'll kind of brush, but just kind of pat it all over just to set my foundation. I'm actually wearing a pretty matte foundation, so if I didn't set it, would be okay, but I feel like it makes my skin look smoother and gives me a nice base for before I put down any bronzers or contour or highlight powders. Okay, so just use that to powder your whole face. That's brush number 1. Alright, so brush number 2 is our nice, big, fluffy goat hair angle brush. And we're going to use this to contour. So use a matte powder of any type. There's a lot of good contouring products out there. Those will, obviously I'll talk about those. I'll do a whole tutorial just on highlight and contouring products. So I'm going to pick it up on the flat of the brush. Now remember that this brush is angled, kind of going out like this. And that is designed to fit right in under your cheekbone. So some people do it this way. Keep the short end down low and then have the longer end going up. And you're just going to tuck it right in under your cheek. And like that. I love this brush. It's so nice and fluffy. And I'm going to contour the edge of my face. Okay, so mostly your cheeks, that's the most important, edge of your face. We're going to use the back side of this same brush to highlight. So if you use a highlighting powder, like I do, you're going to use this side of it. So we used the flat side to do our contouring. We're going to use this nice smooth flat edge along the back here that doesn't get any product on it with our contour, and we're actually going to put that in our highlight. And then we're just going to lightly brush that up on top of our cheekbone. I'm going to pull mine a little onto my cheek. Okay, so brush number 2, contour with this side, highlight with the back edge. Alright, so next up we have brush number 3, which is our blush brush. And we're going to use this to apply our brush. Shocking. So I'm going to take just a pink, I like to mix blushes a lot. I'm going to actually take a little bit of pink and peach. And I don't swirl my brush. It does have sort of a flat edge because it's a little bit pinched. So I like to put my brush on one side, my blush. And then you're just going to, I need some more color. You're just going to apply that like that, kind of to the apples of your cheeks. I'm going to add in some peach. Don't be afraid to play around with multiple colors with your blush. You don't have to use just one color. I like blush. Ooh, maybe a little too much. Okay, that's it. Brush number 3 is for your blush. Okay, so now that the rest of my face is done, I can show you how else you're going to use brush number 16, which I think I said is my favorite brush. You're going to use, again, just one flat side, and you're going to use this. Now, some of you I know probably use pencil under your eye. That's totally fine. I like to have a really nice, soft under eye. So remember how I tight lined on top of here? I have a dark edge. Now I want to make it really soft underneath. So pick up some eyeshadow and hold your brush down low, and it's so easy to use this brush. Just slide it across underneath your eye, okay? Make sure you have enough product. If you don't have enough product and something isn't showing up, that's a really light color, but hopefully you can see the difference. Have this nice soft peachy color under here. And you'll probably, if you want to leave it like that and just put on your mascara on your lower lashes now, you can. But I like to put down a light color and then a dark color. So now I'm going to put my dark, same brush, same side. This is the great thing about working from your light colors to your dark colors, is that you can just build on top of each other. You're probably wondering, well, what happens when I come back tomorrow and I need my brushes and now they have a dark color, I need to use it for a light color? That's why you want to buy brush cleaner. And my brush cleaner that I recommend is Cinema Secrets brush cleaner. cinemasecrets.com. Buy it, you'll use it. You just spray a little bit on a cotton pad, swipe your brush across it a couple of times, it's clean and done. All right, so I'm going to take my dark color on my brush, same side, flat. I've already gone across with a light color, and I'm going to use this to get a little bit darker under my eye. You can go all the way across or halfway across or just the outer corner, that's up to you. And I'll use just the very, very, very tip of it when I want to get it really dark up close there. I always use my fingers after. Okay, so another way to use brush number 16, smudge eyeshadow under your eye. Alright, so brush number 9 can be used actually for the same things if you want as brush number 16, but again, I've seen over the years some people are more comfortable with a little brush that looks more like a pencil, it's called a pencil brush, than the small chisel brush that I was just using. So you can use this brush, it comes to a point, so not only can you use it to smudge under your eye, to this side, you can also use this brush for your inner corner. You could use it for, and trust me, having two brushes that can be used for the same thing comes in really handy because sometimes one's dirty and you just need something else. You can also use this to chisel that outer corner. I prefer to use my chisel brush, but you also, if you're trying to get that really defined crease, can just put a little on the tip of it and then brush that through to get that a little more defined, like that. All right, so brush number 9, pencil brush for smudging shadows and defining that crease. All right, so brush number 15 is our little pen liner brush, I like to call it. It's synthetic and it's small and it's pointy. And again, you can use this for multiple things. So as I gave you options earlier with the angle brushes for liner, I use a pen liner by Smashbox. You could use this with cream, gel liner, and just paint your liner on. But typically what I use this brush for is actually painting on the waterline. A lot of people ask me how I get that waterline so black. I'm going to show you. You're going to take some of your liner of choice, black, brown, blue, green, whatever you're wearing in that waterline, and pick it up on your brush. I pick it up evenly all the way around. And then you're just going to paint it on the waterline. Again, eyeliner brush. You can use it for liner on top as well as waterline. I personally just use it for my waterline. And also note, if you really want to, I have a really big space up here, you can paint it on the top waterline as well. All right, so that is what brush number 15 is for. Hey everyone, all right, so brush number 8 we didn't really address. I wanted to have you to have lots of eye brushes because it's really frustrating if you have like 3 eye brushes and then one gets dirty and then you need a new one. So I showed you with brush number 10 how to use it for 2 colors. So you use one side to do your brow highlight and I use the other side to do my lid. But really, if you're not going to clean your brushes all the time, keep brush number 10 to do your brow highlight and then use brush number 8 to actually do your lid color. Okay, so you have 2 flat brushes. Number 8 is a little bit bigger so that it's better for doing your lid, and then number 10 is really small and flat for doing your brow bone. So brush number 8 you're going to use to pack on. Just go watch the video for brush number 10. You'll see exactly how I packed it on my lid. You're going to do that same thing, but with brush number 10. So this way you have 2 options. Brush number 10 for your brow bone, brush number 8 for your lid, and this one's a little bit bigger. All right, so enjoy.